What's up, YouTubers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. The reason why you're seeing my face in this particular video is because I wanted to give a special shout out to you, Earth's mightiest subscribers, for, helping me get to 8,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all. You've been doing the Lord's work out here, sharing videos, liking, commenting, of course, subscribing. And I want you all to keep doing that. Please share this video and any future videos, even some old videos, with your friends. If you think people like stuff like this, go ahead and send it their way. And, of course, keep commenting and liking videos and, of course, watching them. And I really appreciate it, like literally from the bottom of my heart. I can't say enough how much I appreciate this. Enough about that. This video today is supposed to be talking about Green Lantern, and we are going to be talking about Robert Venditti's run on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. One of my personal favorite, books in DC, technically it just came to an end not too long ago, about a month ago, maybe, give or take, but I would dare say my favorite book in DC, period, at this particular point. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about Sinestro's Law of the first volume, the first trade in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. So let me get the heck out of here so that we can get on with the video. Once again, thank you, and plus ultra. Okay, so let me go ahead and smarten you all up a little bit, using a little wrestling terminology to what's been going on with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, and kind of give you a little primer, so that way, if anything comes up later, you won't be confused. But what you really need to know is that in the wake of the New 52, Hal Jordan has taken the heat for everything the Green Lantern Corps has been blamed for pretty much the last volume or so of the New 52. Maybe even a million more things, who knows. Specifically, he's taking direct heat for the Third Army shenanigans and the Relic. These are tales, well, for another day. Hal took all the blame and essentially branded himself a criminal, scapegoating himself for the Corps he loved so much. No ring, no powers, no Corps, with the only Lantern knowing the truth being Kilowog. And the Green Lanterns vanished from the universe, all of them, making Hal's sacrifice pretty damn pointless. Sinestro, in the wake of the Green Lantern Corps disappearing from the face of the known galaxies, used his power to raise the Sinestro Corps banner on Warworld, effectively making the Sinestro Corps the peacekeeping law enforcement entity in the universe, at great cost to his own physical well-being. He's considerably older looking now, disturbingly frail, and likely not long for this Earth, Warworld. And we learn that his newfound status in the universe is all thanks to the power of Parallax. Big surprise. And of course, Lysa Drac is by his side, so that's also bad for business, but yeah, at least she isn't the producer dancing all up in the videos. But Hal's not giving up that easy. He takes Krona's Power Gauntlet, a prototype Green Lantern weapon that some speculate was the precursor to the actual Green Lantern Power Ring, and he uses it to forge a new ring. A ring made of his own pure willpower. A feat no Green Lantern has ever achieved, and this right here is the moment Hal cemented himself as the GOAT. Don't get me wrong, I'm a John Stewart guy myself, but the thing is, all Lanterns, Hal, Kyle, John, and Guy, all have things that make them better than the other. John is the best leader with the strongest and the soundest constructs. Kyle is the most creative Lantern of them all and has rarely ever used the same construct twice. He's literally the innovator of offense. Also having the White Lantern ring, at least, well, up to this point, that is also a thing. Guy Gardner is the most ride or die Lantern that ever was. He embodies every aspect of will over fear motto that the Lanterns live by. No one does it better than Guy. Hal? Well, he just can do no one else can do, plain and simple. When Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps kicks off, Sinestro is marshaling his forces to remind the galaxies that Sinestro's Corps is law, instilling fear like never before, and Hal Jordan is out doing something similar, but not to instill fear. His sole mission is now to remind the galaxies that the Green Lanterns are far from dead and gone. And he's also trying to find his comrades. And one of the new side effects of Hal's newly created ring is that he can now sense fear like never before. And he realizes the second Sinestro begins fueling his core with even more power that something is up. And when Sinestro Corps' vanguards, Slush and Mash, show up on the scene, and it's here Hal reminds them why the Green Lanterns were once the true form of law and order in the universe. Not only is he throwing hands with them, but eventually he finds himself going toe-to-toe with the whole squadron of Yellow Lanterns. And let's be fair, Hal doesn't break so much as a sweat. The only thing that throws Hal off his game is when he tries to save the people of Numericron, who are being abducted by the Yellows. The Lanterns of Fear begin supercharging their rings, something that overloads Hal's senses and leads to him exhausting his power. And despite it being one hell of a fight, he burns through so much of his power that he falls to the surface of Numericron, leaving a huge crater, and ends up being captured by the Sinestro Corps. All the while this is going on, Sinestro is having issues of his own, family matters and such. His daughter Soranik, a woman who is the niece of Abin Sur, Hal Jordan's predecessor, and was once a Green Lantern during the New 52, but, sided with her father, Thal Sinestro, more or less, when the Green Lantern Corps deuced out. And even though she knows her father is evil, she knows that his idea of justice, though meaning well, is twisted and perverted into just a lawful evil form of law enforcement. And in Sinestro's own weird way, he does in fact mean to do good, but he knew deep down the universe would never see him as a benevolent figure. But he knew his daughter Soranik would be. And with her guidance, the Sinestro Corps, though still seen as a quotey fingers not nice police force, is only viewed as well as it is because of her presence and her tendency towards benevolence and generosity. But now that she's accomplished this, Sinestro is taking the reins back to ensure the Sinestro Corps' place in history with his own iron hand. And with knowledge that Hal Jordan is back as Green Lantern, even if he's only acting as an army of one, the seeds for dissolution have been planted. Speaking of dissolution, the Green Lantern Corps is back, baby! John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kilowog, and many more have returned from beyond the far reaches of the universe, after entering a tear in the space-time continuum to escape the aftermath of facing the Blackest Night, and have set up on Mogo, the sentient planet Green Lantern, as their, base of operations. But with no Guardians to lead them, Hal Jordan, quotey fingers going rogue, and Kilowog injured, it falls to John Stewart to lead the mean green willpower machines. And with so many other Lanterns injured and on the verge of death after the closing battles of the New 52, John Stewart does what any good soldier would do. He logics the out of the situation and determines that he needs a sit rep to better assess the situation. So he sends hothead Guy Gardner on a recon mission to scout out the cosmos, get the lowdown, and see what awaits them in this uncharted corner of space. No police work, no saving the day, no fighting. Just get the info and get back. But this is Guy Get These Hands Gardner we're talking about. Of course he's going to do the opposite of that. And he does. And with Hal Jordan scooped up and the Sinestro Corps bringing their prize back to their leader, Sinestro is quite pleased that he finally has Hal Jordan back in his clutches to snuff out the one ray of hope willpower still had in the universe. But he doesn't get that opportunity because the Corps didn't bring back Hal Jordan. They found Guy Gardner. And Sinestro is not happy about this, mostly because if Gardner is back, that means the other Lanterns may be as well, and what was originally a simple task of snuffing out one Green Lantern becomes a much bigger headache. So where's Hal Jordan then? Apparently when Hal crash landed after burning out his willpower, he was surrounded on all sides by Yellow Lanterns, until Soranik arrived and took him into custody, using this time to help Hal by using her yellow power ring to perform emergency surgery on Hal to save his ruptured internal organs. He's pleased to see her when he finally wakes up, but he's hardly happy about her being a Yellow Lantern, regardless of her reasoning, and she breaks down her purpose in Sinestro Corps, and unsurprisingly, Hal already knows where her plan went wrong, because Sinestro. Speaking of crazy, he reveals how he got his new ring, and this is when we realize how much change Hal has endured recently. He is now becoming living willpower. power, will incarnate. This is something even Thal Sinestro couldn't accomplish with fear. And with that nugget, we also learn of the fear engine, the machine Sinestro is building to harness fear across the galaxies. And he wanted Hal Jordan to fuel this machine. As his being the, supposed Green Lantern GOAT, his fear would bring incalculable levels of power to his ultimate weapon. And now that Hal is woke on Sinestro's plan, as is Guy Gardner having been captured by him, Hal has an idea just crazy enough to work. Soranik recruiting every single Yellow Lantern who thinks the way she does. Get them away from Warworld so that they don't suffer for what Sinestro has done, because Hal Jordan, the one-man wrecking crew, is about to blow it straight to hell. And with him beating down Warworld's door, Sinestro unleashes his toughest warriors to stop him. Arkillo, Romat Rue, and many others. All the while, Sinestro is supercharging, reaching power level heights that would kill a normal person. Levels of up to 500%, 700%, and once he's reached 1000% power level, he wants to kill Hal Jordan himself and end it once and for all. And despite his hatred of Hal Jordan, he still wants to turn him. Much like the Star Wars Jedi-Sith dynamic, nothing pleases a dark side practitioner more than turning a Jedi. Even killing one isn't quite as sweet of a feeling. And deep down, Sinestro knows Hal is just that powerful that his mere addition to the Sinestro Corps would raise its ranks to legendary proportions. Lysa Drac tries to break Guy Gardner to fuel the fear engine while the fight rages on the surface of Warworld, and we all know this isn't going to work because Guy doesn't break. He breaks others, and his willpower, fueled with the will of the other Lanterns, turns everyone abducted from Numericron to the Green Lantern way of thinking as they recite the age-old chant. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape their sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware their power, Green Lantern's light. More importantly, Soranik is on the scene as well, ring blazing, and she puts those paws on Lysa, so now the fight is a little more even than it was before. And while Hal and Cindy fight it out one-on-one, Sinestro does what he always does, but always seems to fail at: breaking down Hal Jordan. And of course he manages to compliment Hal in the same breath because insult sandwich, but Hal is one of the most stubborn sons of in comic books. He takes it, the jabs, both verbal and physical. He uses it to fuel himself and unleash his true power. And this is when we see what can only be described as genuine surprise on Sinestro's face, as Hal Jordan begins turning into living willpower, dwarfing the power of the fear engine itself, and reminding Sinestro that the person who helped him become the Lantern he is today, who helped him overcome his last and greatest fear, was Sinestro. And he did that by giving him the will to do it. And with Soranik having removed all innocence from Warworld, Hal was free to unleash the full might of his will on Sinestro without fear of harming anyone else. Well, at least anyone else that wouldn't deserve it. And more importantly, he knows that doing this is his swan song. There's no turning back, as he detonates Warworld with his will. Hal Jordan doing this, and I want you to understand, this is a big deal because normally the Green Lantern rings are not capable of lethal force, but the fact that Hal made this ring himself kind of gives us the impression that maybe his ring doesn't have that limitation. And another thing you have to understand too is that Hal Jordan, and this is going to be something that's a big part of this entire Venditti run on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, is that killing is not okay, and that Hal Jordan knows that there's a better way, that rehabilitation is always the answer. And like I said, it's not the answer right now. This is one of those situations where, yes, Hal Jordan does effectively kill Sinestro. So, I mean, this is one of those situations where we realize, yes, Hal has finally seen the light. He, pun intended. He has seen the light that, yes, there is no rehabilitation for Sinestro. He has to die. And even if it means killing himself, he's willing to do it. So this is a huge turning point for Hal Jordan as a Green Lantern. And now that John Stewart and the rest of the Green Lantern Corps, broken yet united, have flown in to fight as well, rules and procedure be damned, now that they've gotten word of what's happening and they don't want to just stand by as Guy Gardner is, left to whatever fate has befallen him, especially John Stewart, who considers Guy Gardner his closest friend. Unfortunately, they've only arrived in time to see Warworld's Warworld's detonation, and suddenly they get a read on a legion of Yellow Lanterns bearing down on them, but it's the last thing any Green Lantern would ever expect. The same Yellow Lanterns the Green Lantern Corps were prepared to fight, led by Soranik, and with Guy Gardner in tow. They aren't the bad guys. These are the good guys. And this is the thing that makes it so interesting, is that because when you go back and look at the fact that, yes, Hal Jordan said, yes, Soranik, go and find the other like-minded Lanterns like yourself. This is one of those situations where in the back of your head as the reader, you're probably thinking, oh, well, there's probably like, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 other Yellow Lanterns who are, kind of down with the way that, Soranik, thinks. And then you realize that's not the case. There's roughly a baker's dozen. And that's also a huge thing, because you gotta understand, Soranik is not evil. She is not like her father. Even though, yes, she does technically have that in her blood, no, she's not evil. She does not want to do evil. And she's even willing to do the things that it takes, even if they are kind of dirty, to get the job done. But at the end of the day, she's a good-hearted person. And the proof is literally right there in the pudding, because Soranik and her Yellow Lantern saved Guy Gardner. Not only that, they worked together to shut down the fear engine to help Hal save the day. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Yellow Lanterns do want change. Maybe the yellow light of fear doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Like I said, it makes for a really interesting dynamic for, the whole rest of Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Even when the Yellow Lanterns aren't involved, it still holds weight. But yeah, anyway, now I just want to go ahead and say that's pretty much where Sinestro's Law right there. That's the end of the story. I love Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. I know a lot of times when I would talk about, the rest of you Earth's Mightiest subscribers would, reach out to me in the comments and ask me, what I was reading. I think I almost always came up with, oh man, I'm reading Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. It's the one book I think I bought like on the regular, rain, sleet, or snow, I was always reading it. Even the in-between stuff, like, sometimes they have like a full story arc, and then DC always kind of delves off into some like one-off thing that's like 1 or 2, maybe 3 issues, but it's kind of a nothing burger, doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Even those, I even read those because I love those too. Those were even good. But Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, yeah, it's pound for pound my favorite DC book, maybe in the last, few years, give or take. But anyways, I love where this book goes from here. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on between the Green Lantern Corps and Sinestro Corps, and there's a lot of cool stuff that comes up with Kyle Rayner when you start getting a little deeper into it, and they kind of delve more into what's going on with John Stewart, what's going on with Guy Gardner, and of course, it's Hal Jordan, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. Of course, we're going to talk about Hal Jordan, but either way, that's not important. But what is important is, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, this book is great. I think it's very much worth your time if you pick it up and trade. If you've already been reading it, then you already know what I know, but let me know what you thought about Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps Volume 1, Sinestro's Law. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, Superman punch that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell button so you know when I post up. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you all next time. Plus Ultra!